What's up, guys? Welcome to Gwhisky. I'm Jeff. We've got a review today. This is the Tamdhu 15. Stick around. All right, so Tamdhu 12 today. This is one I haven't looked at for a while. I think at least 2, probably closer to 3 years at this point. And this is one that I really liked when I last looked at it. I gave it a 90 at the time. With the adjusted scoring, that's probably closer to 88. So a big hit, but figured now was a good time to come back to it. And just why is now of any time a good time to come back to it? Well, I saw it on sale a while back and I felt like drinking it, so now I'm talking about it. It's really not that deep. For those of you who aren't familiar with Tamdhu, this is a very well-regarded Speyside distillery. They're a little bit similar to brands like maybe Glenfarclas or Aberlour in the sense that they primarily put out sherried whiskey, and that's what they're known for. They also have a reputation for being a good alternative to Macallan, which is often overpriced, which I feel like you have to mention every time you're talking about a Tamdhu. Like, it's never just, here's Tamdhu. It's always, here's Tamdhu. By the way, do you know people call it the Macallan alternative? Which, to be fair, I understand why that adds to the appeal. I like Macallan myself, but I rarely buy it for reasons. And yeah, it does have a luxurious house style. It works well with sherry casks, so the comparison makes sense. I guess I'm just a little bit tired of hearing about it or saying it because, I don't know, I'm just grumpy today. There was an incident with a cockroach earlier. I was coming back from the gym, I was walking, and then I felt something on my arm. I looked down, it was a cockroach, and I jumped, and I screamed like a 5-year-old girl. And then later, I came back home, and I told my girlfriend about the trauma I'd just been through, and she laughed at me and she called me a princess. So now I'm in a bad mood. My masculinity has been bruised. Listen, I may be afraid of cockroaches, alright, but I'm still a man. I have 2 flannel shirts. Anyway, that was a useless little tidbit. Let's get back to the whiskey. 15 years old, obviously. This one is a full Oloroso sherry cask maturation, so it's not a finish. And I think that's pretty much all I know about it. That's about it. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we have good specs here, which is not something we always get from Tamdhu. This one comes in at 46% ABV. It is non-chill filtered. It is natural color. I like the Tamdhu look. I think it's very unique. I like the Art Deco style. It stands out on the shelf. It's not my favorite bottle by any means, but I do like it. With regards to this label, I think I prefer the white label on the Tamdhu 12 to the blue on the 15, but that doesn't matter. None of this matters. This score doesn't matter, but I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. This does not say non-chill filtered on the bottle itself. It does say it on the website. It might say it on the box. I threw away the box. It would be nice to have it on the label itself, though. The label does tell us that it's natural color. It says it's exclusively matured in sherry casks. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. On the nose, this gives us a deep and full sherry. These tasting notes will not be unexpected. I get loads of red fruits, I get red apples, I get berries, I get cherries, there's raisins, rum raisin, dates, figs, cinnamon, Christmas cake. There's some nutty notes in here like cashews, hazelnuts maybe. We get a creamy chocolate note in here, kind of like a chocolate mousse. This is just classic big sherry. It's nice. On the palate finish, this is intense, it's mouth coating, it's quite spicy up front, so we get a big hit of pepper initially, and then that moves into these wonderful fruity notes. So there's red fruits, there's plums, there's prunes, there's figs, there's also berry jam. This gives us more chocolate, more cinnamon, more nuts. A lot of this is a continuation of the nose. We have a medium finish here on cherry, spices, and some black tea. Alright, so this stuff is pretty good. I would even go so far as to say that this is one of the better 15-year-old sherried whiskeys that you can get. It's not doing anything unexpected here, but it does what it does well. It's just a high-quality, no-frills, straightforward sherried 15. I do think we had good cask play here. This is definitely sherry dominated. The cask's dominated here. It is for the sherry lovers, but it's not this dark, heavy, imposing sherry like you might get in, say, an Edradour or a Cavalan, but it's not this super bright, super clean, super sweet modern sherry either. It's somewhere in the middle. This is balanced, it's rich, it's full, it's got layers, it's got complexity. It satisfies, even if it doesn't necessarily surprise. It's not too sugary, sweet, cloying, so it just comes together nicely. So I do like this one. I'm going to give it a good score, and I think most people out there who enjoy sherried whiskey would like this one. I can't imagine sherry lovers not getting behind this stuff. The age, the maturity, they're all where they're supposed to be. and there's no real off notes. That said, I do think a fair number of European oak casks were used for this, so it may come off a little bit peppery, a little bit spicy for some people out there. I think most people won't mind. I don't. Now, the next thing you might be asking yourself is it worth buying this over the 12? And I would say, yes, I do. I think it's better. I think this gives us more layers, more complexity. It's definitely a deeper, richer whiskey. It's got more going on. Not to mention the fact that this is 46%, the 12 only 43%. So yeah, I think it's a step up, at least technically. In terms of enjoyment, I do like both, and it is pretty close. Like when I'm in my enthusiast mode and I want something that's spicier, bolder, more intense, this is obviously the one I'm going to turn to, but that's not every day. I do have moods where I do just feel like something more casual and a little bit more on the light side, and that's where I turn to the 12. Both are excellent. And I do think that's actually a strength to the Tamdhu range, because despite the fact that all of their whiskeys are quite sherry forward, they kind of hit differently and they work differently for different moods. So I reach for something like this and the 12 about equally, and they both work equally well depending on what I'm feeling like. So yeah, as I said, I think if you're a fan of sherry, you're going to get along with this one just fine. It's either going to be a like or a love, because come to think of it, I don't know anyone who dislikes Tamdhu 15. I've never heard someone say that. I'm sure someone's out there who doesn't like it, but yeah, I think this is a very easy whiskey to get along with. The only criticism that I might put forward is nothing surprising here. This whiskey doesn't really take any risks. It's not trying to do anything different. It does do everything you would want and expect from a high quality sherried 15-year-old. But if you're like me and you're kind of jaded and you've been around the block enough, maybe you're looking for something with a bit more of an edge or a bit more of an angle, this is more of a straight shooter. It should be noted though that this is a very minor gripe. In fact, it doesn't really bother me either. I'm just saying something negative because, I don't know, review. So as I said, this is just a high quality 15-year-old sherry that's done well, and I kind of appreciate the simplicity to that. There's no angle and there's no edge, and I often look for those things, but just being what you are and doing it right, that's not as commonplace as you might think. So yeah, it's a good one. I'm going to score it 88. I think Tamdhu fans, sherry fans, they're all going to appreciate this. It's a very easy whiskey to like. Now, before we touch on value, I do want to say a quick thank you to all my channel members, all my patrons. Guys, thank you so much for all the support. And if you want to help out, if you want to help keep the channel financially sustainable and independent, there are a number of ways that you can help. I've got both Patreon and PayPal linked down below. Anything and everything helps, guys. And again, huge thank you to those of you who are already supporting the channel. Now let's see about value. Okay, so I got this one on sale. As many of you know, Taiwan is a very cheap market to begin with. So I'm very happy with what I paid for this. This cost me just about 80 US, just over 60 pounds. And for that, I think it's an excellent pour. Now, earlier I did mention that my enjoyment level between this and the 12 were roughly the same, and that they just suited different moods. That's still true. In my market, this sells for roughly double the price of the 12-year-old. So is it worth that bump? For me, yes, but it should be noted that for every couple of bottles of 12 I buy, I just buy the 12 more than I buy this, is my point. But yeah, the 15, really good stuff. I don't know how much it's going to cost in your market, likely more than mine. But, you know, I'll leave it up to you. Obviously, it's up to you how much you're willing to pay. But I do recommend this one. And as I said earlier, one of the better sherried 15s that money can buy nowadays. So, recommended. All right, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And obviously, I want to hear from you. So have you tried our Tamdhu 15? What are your thoughts? How would you compare it to the 12? How much more does this cost than the 12 in your market? And do you think it's worth a price bump? Let me know all of that down below. Finally, down below, you can also let me know what you want to see me review down the line, and I'll keep that in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.